Well, hello there, everyone. It is still January 3rd in the year 2022. Hopefully, you had a chance to watch that interview with the helicopter pilot Caleb. And I've been thinking about a video like this for a couple days now, so here we go. If you're in between the ages of, say, 17 and I can't remember off the top of my head if it's 32 or 34, you can Google and find out. But something to seriously consider. Think about joining, and don't click out till I explain everything. Think about joining the United States military. And here are the branches. You have Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, and even the Merchant Marines. Okay, why am I suggesting this? There are so many young people out there who have graduated from college, six-figure debt from college, five-figure debt from college, whatever. There, a lot of student debt, okay? And as society is starting to figure out right now that college isn't always worth it. I mean, I have a bachelor's degree, okay? And I'll explain how I did it in a minute. But college is expensive, all right? So if you want to become a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, maybe a teacher, and you back up on a teacher for a minute. We'll skip teacher for a minute. Doctor, lawyer, engineer, maybe an RN, and some other professions. Yes, you have to go to college. You need that piece of paper, you need that certification, you need the knowledge, okay, to get into that profession, all right? If you don't know what you want to do, like so many young people, they just go and they take whatever classes. Sometimes they party too much. The dropout rate for a college freshman is high. I forget the rate, but it's high. A lot of folks start a four-year college, never finish, okay? So a couple things to consider. You can go to community college for much cheaper than a four-year school. Go to community college, get your general degree, get an associate's degree, and then transfer to a four-year school for the final 2 years. I know in Virginia, if you go to a community college for 2 years, you are guaranteed acceptance into, I think, a variety of state schools. Guaranteed acceptance, okay, for the final 2 years. But with the military, any branch, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, Merchant Marines. I'm not knowledgeable about the Merchant Marines, but the other ones. You can enlist, you can become an officer, and you can become an officer in the Merchant Marines too. They have an academy. If you have great grades in high school, and you've been planning, and you plan ahead, you can't just say as a high school senior, hey, I want to go to the United States Naval Academy. It's too late for that year. Not too late permanently for that year. What you got to do is have your resume built up. You need to have good grades in school. You need to take challenging classes. If your area has a governor's school, go to the governor's school. Go take AP classes. Do extracurricular activities. Play in the school band. Play sports. Try to be a captain of a sports team. Join the scouts. Volunteer in your church. Volunteer in your community. Etc., etc., etc. That's how you could have a better chance of getting into a United States Service Academy, okay? I had two boys, both of them. One was on the waiting list for the Naval Academy. One was early acceptance into the Naval Academy. Both were accepted in the United States Coast Guard Academy. Both attended the United States Coast Guard Academy. What does the military do for you? If you go to a service academy, I'll talk briefly on this. While you're at the service academy, you get a stipend. If you're like my boys and you get a stipend, you can invest that money, because both my boys started when they were freshmen or sophomores in college. Started investing, okay? So by the time they graduated, they had a little nest egg from investing. All right, you get a stipend while you're there. You get a guaranteed job upon graduation. While you're there, you get uniforms to wear, you get food to eat. There is no cost to the parents. It's a guaranteed for your education that's worth a lot of money. Depends on which school you go to. Service Academy, you get a degree in different subjects. But you graduate with a guaranteed job. You don't graduate trying to find a job. You graduate with a guaranteed job in whatever branch of service you attended the academy in. And you get pretty good pay, in my humble opinion, okay? While you're there, you get health care. While you're there, that's covered. There's no cost out of pocket. All right, let's say you're like the majority of folks, though, and you need to enlist. You can enlist in any of the branches of the service. When you enlist, you will go to something called basic training or boot camp, okay? I was enlisted in the United States Navy. I am now retired from the Navy Reserves. I did almost 10 years active duty, and I retire from the reserves as an E7. So once I turn age 60, I am eligible for a pension, and I also am eligible for health care. I think even right now I could get VA care for at low cost or no cost, okay, if I so desire. But if you enlist in the military, you will start off normally as an E1. Sometimes, depending on your high school, or maybe you had a little bit of college, maybe they'll start you in E2 or E3 or maybe an E4, okay? If you're enlisted, you start off an E1. In 6 months, you become an E2. I think another 6 months, you become an E3. And maybe it's a year to become an E4 or something like that. It's not guaranteed to be an E4, I think. I was in an accelerated program. I made E4 quick. But I think if you're not in an accelerated program, I'm not sure. E4, I think you have to test for it. It's not a given. It's not hard. Most will get it. But you may have to test for it. Okay? While you're enlisted, you are provided housing. You may live in the barracks. You may live in base housing. You may live in single family housing. You may rent a place off base once you are out of boot camp. You get health care. If you get married, your spouse can also get on the military health care system. If you have kids, my oldest son was born while I was in the Navy. My wife had to pay for her meals in the hospital only. Everything else was covered. All right. When my second son was born, I was out of the active duty civilian hospital. We had insurance, and we still paid hundreds of dollars. And this was like 24 years ago, maybe $1,000 for the civilian hospital with insurance. Okay. Military hospital, we paid only for her meals while she was there. Okay. So what does the military do for you? Why am I talking this? Why do I think almost 100% of young people should go in the military? Here's why. You will get leadership. You will learn independence. The leadership you get will beat in my humble opinion, any leadership you may get in college. It will get if you start a job when you're 18, you're not a leader. If you go in the military, you learn leadership skills. You learn independence. You're away from your family. You will see the world. I don't know exactly what you'll see. People picture sometimes the military, Iran, Iraq, over there fighting, Afghanistan fighting. That's not what all the military does. Yes, some Army and Marines go there, and different branches go there, but that's not everything. I was stationed in the country of Panama. I was stationed in Colorado. I was stationed in Puerto Rico for 3 years, 2.5 years in Panama. I loved Panama. 3 years in Puerto Rico. I was stationed in Maine. I've been in school in Norfolk, Virginia. My boys have traveled the globe. They've been across the seas, over to the China Sea, North Pole, South Pole, Australia, Japan, India, Indonesia, Malaysia, Hawaii several times. My oldest, I think, has been stationed in Hawaii. They've been stationed on the West Coast, up Seattle, Washington, Oakland, California, San Francisco, California, Alameda, California, Los Angeles, California. Helicopter pilot Caleb that just interviewed with me is stationed in Miami, Florida. All right. I know a young person in the Coast Guard stationed in Texas. I know of others stationed in a variety of places. If you are an officer, perhaps you might get into flight school. Where can you get your pilot's license for free? Okay. Oh, Mazske said he has a bachelor's degree. How did I get a bachelor's degree? I went to school while I was in the Navy. I started in the country of Panama. I continued in Puerto Rico. I used tuition assistance. Tuition assistance paid 75% of the tuition I paid for books out of my pocket. Okay. So I still had to pay money, but it was much cheaper. All right. I also got the GI Bill. The GI Bill now is better than it used to be. All right. I don't know the exact numbers, but everyone who enlists or becomes an officer, you might have to be in a year or something, and then say you want the GI Bill, but it's like maybe $30-some thousand towards education. And I think now it's been changed where your family members can use it. If you have children, they could use it. When I was in, it was only for me. Okay. And what I did when I got out of the Navy, years had passed by, and I realized, oh no, I haven't used my GI Bill, and I already have a bachelor's degree. I got enrolled in a master's program, but I was a cop. I was working shift work. So I completed like one semester of master's program. Master's program's easy. It's just more writing than the bachelor's degree. Okay, but due to shift work, it was just too much. I had 2 young kids. It was too much, so I dropped out of that program. A couple more years went by, and I was like, oh man, I got that benefit I'm not using. So I contacted whoever it was for the GI Bill, and they said I could do this. I started going to community college, and taking classes that I liked. It was child psychology, it was another psychology, it was Spanish, it was some other classes. And the GI Bill paid for that class and paid more above and beyond. So a teacher might say in the first day of class, why are y'all taking this class? And they'd come to me and I'd be like, it's a part-time job, I'm getting paid to be here. And they're like, how you get paid to be here? So I have the GI Bill. It was free for me to take the class, and I'm getting another, whatever it was, I think it was about $1,000 in my pocket for the semester for one class or something like that. So I got money to go to school, and I always got straight A's. My GPA for my bachelor's degree was like 3.96, I think, or 3.91. I had an A minus along the way. Everything else was an A. So community college, it was easy for me. It was fun. I met a lot of people of all different ages. I became friends with professors because I was not 18 years old. I was in my 30s at the time. So anyway, I encourage you, if you're a young person, consider the United States military. Don't always think about, oh, it's the military. It's the Army, yes. Navy, yes. Air Force, yes. Marines, yes. Coast Guard, yes. Even Merchant Marines. Okay, it doesn't mean you're going to go to combat. You can get a variety of different jobs in the military. Not everything is carrying a gun fighting. It might be in the Army and the Marines, possibly. I wasn't in those branches. I was in the Navy. Okay, I was an electronics technician. I learned electronics. When I walked away from the Navy after almost 10 years, I could have gotten a job in the electronics field making good money. I was just burnt out. I thought I wanted a different career field, so I didn't do it. But I could have. Okay, it was an option available to me. So for most people getting out of the military, it's not always just a piece of cake to find a job, because maybe you want to go back to your hometown, which is some small town in the Midwest, and there are no jobs. Okay, but if you serve in the military and you get out, you can get out after 4 years normally. You might have some reserve time after that, but it's a piece of cake. So if you get out, are you going to go back home, or are you going to go somewhere else? Because now you've gotten a chance to get out and broaden your wings and see different parts of the country or the world. So anyway, it's something to consider, okay? All right, it's late. Dinner's calling. Mazske is signing out. But if you have any questions about the military, comment below. I will answer, or perhaps some of my military friends will chime in and answer. All right? Mazske's signing out.